Welcome to Sox Shooter, Soxty Minutes. Yakety Sox, Fort Sox. It's gold. This is Long Sox.
I think we got it.
Well, I am honored to say that I'm with a Hall of Famer. There's a lot of that going around nowadays, but always love to be with you. Jim Thome, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you. So baseball fans have this image of a young man in Cleveland pointing his bat at the pitcher, right? And then getting ready to swing. And it's Landon, your son.
Yes.
If you didn't see it, the Celebrity Softball Game All-Star Week, Landon pinch hits, comes up, does the whole thing that you used to do. What are you thinking as you're sitting there as he gets a hit?
It was so cool. Like, first of all, they asked me, they said, do you want Landon to play in the game? And I said, absolutely, he would love it. And they're like, well, maybe he can pinch run for you. And I said, well, I'm not going to get a base hit, because I'll either try to hit a home run or just, and I hope I didn't walk. So my second at bat, I told my son, I said, hey, Landon, you're going to pinch hit for me. And his eyes got so big, and he was so happy. And when they introduced him, to watch him walk up there and the crowd got on their feet, it was a really cool moment. I think he worked the count to 3-2 and then got the base hit up the middle. And everybody, the fans, our teammates on the Cleveland side just embraced him, and the smile on his face was just priceless. It was something, as a father, like you root for. Those are the little things that we all want our kids to experience, and he got to do it at a great age. So it was pretty cool moment.
He didn't know it was coming.
He didn't. No. He had an idea that he might pinch run, but had no idea he was going to pinch hit. And it was great. I wanted him to have that moment. I wanted him to feel what it was like to go up to the plate and feel that. And he, even today, you talk about it, and he still has this big smile on his face, which is great.
He points the bat like you. What does that mean to you?
I've never talked to him about that. Like, I've never
Really?
said, hey, do this, or, as a father, you kind of let your kids be them. You want them to have their identity. And to see him do that, it's special, It's like Landon was in Cooperstown with us this weekend, and you see all the kids playing on the yard there, and they're playing wiffle ball, and you see you see little Tony Gwynn out there playing. You see my son, you see Frank Thomas's boy, Frankie's out there hitting bombs. It was so great. Here we are all like on the porch at the Otesaga, and the kids are all playing wiffle ball down in the big grass area there behind the Otesaga. Just a special feeling.
How about the day when they're playing in the majors, maybe? You know what I mean? You can't help but bring your mind. I know life brings you a lot of things, but just to think about, you mentioned Tony Gwynn's son has played in the major leagues. To have that be even a part of your son because of your career has to feel somewhere deep in your heart special.
It is. You see a lot of the major league kids today. You see Vladimir's son, you see Bichette's son, you see Biggio's son, and there is this little part of you that dreams a little bit and think, could this ever happen? And as we all know, the process is a long process. You have to work hard, you have to put a lot of time in. But as a father, it's kind of what it's all about, And I think at the end of the day, all you really want and I know Andrea can speak the same way, we just want what's best for our kids. We don't want them to have any bigger expectations. We don't want them to put any big expectation, but we will be their biggest fans as they go through life and encourage them to do things they want to do.
Where did Lila get the singing voice?
I have no idea, honestly. I've asked my wife, I said, were you a singer at one time? And she goes, oh no. And we're trying to figure that one out because she does have a beautiful voice, and it is to watch her sing the national and just around the house. Like at times I have to stop, and it's just so beautiful. You know, it's great to see her have something that makes her feel good. You know, Lila doesn't play sports, but you know, this is something that I think really brings her a lot of confidence and makes her smile, and that's what it's about.
Your whole family was in Cooperstown. What's it like to be in Cooperstown as a Hall of Famer rather than going into the Hall of Fame?
Second year is much different. You know, the schedule is a little different. You don't have the demands that you have your first year, which is, your first year is undescribable. It's magical. It's everything you would dream of. And then the second year, after you get in, it's like you can take a breath. You can enjoy it. You can, you know, you really get to sit back and now watch the inductees go through their media interviews. You get to see them just enjoy what is so great about our game. And it's really cool. I look forward to watching Harold next year, you know, and how much more relaxed he will be. Because the minute you get there, from Wednesday, all you're really thinking about is, okay, Sunday's the speech. So, you know, once that's over, there's this just breath of fresh air you can breathe and then enjoy it. So I was really happy for him.
You got to walk Hank Aaron to his seat. What does that do to your heart?
To be honest, I had to take a moment. You know, when they asked me to do that, you know, that was one of the most special things in baseball. I mean, when you get to walk the home run king to his seat, and the crowd was giving him the ovation, and how much like baseball loves him, and to be the honor to walk him to his chair and then be able to sit next to him and have him. So you have Hank Aaron to your left, you have Cal Ripken to your right, and you're going, wait a minute, is this all real? Is this really happening? And it was just a moment. I thought of my father. I thought, what would my father have thought walking Hank Aaron to his seat? It does not get any better than that. And I'm humbled, I'm grateful, and so it's just a moment I'll never forget. As I thank Shesta for that opportunity, it was just so special.
It's amazing as you're talking in such reverent terms about a guy that you were only 143 home runs short of. I mean, you are the guy from Peoria who worked so hard, but to be that close to somebody that you hold in such high esteem, how does that hit you?
I never have thought of it that way, because I think, well, I get the numbers, I get you're 100 this away, but I mean, Hank Aaron was like what he did long term, and I appreciate you know saying that, and that's what makes it, I think, that fraternity is so special. That, I mean, you know, like, look, Hank Aaron was an incredible hitter, but I think when you get to know the man, you realize how beloved he is, because how he treated people, how much respect people have for him, and it was just a very, very cool moment, and something I'll never forget. I got to tell you, I mean, I've had some great moments in life. I've had great moments in baseball. In baseball, that has been, to me, that's one of the tops up there.
Wow. As you're walking through the Hall of Fame corridors now, and you are one of the people in it, how do you look at the place differently?
You know, you're proud. I think when you walk through it and you see you're in awe. I think words to describe it is awe. You're proud, you're humbled, you're grateful, you know, I mean, what the happiness that it brings. You see people we talked about it earlier, when people come into Cooperstown, in that little town tucked away in our country, and to have people genuinely love, they smile, they're happy, there's no sad feelings in Cooperstown. That's what makes it so great, is you get little kids out on the street playing wiffle ball. You've got dads and sons playing catch. You've got our kids as Hall of Famer kids playing at the back of the Otis Saga, just loving the game. That's what we all do, is we love the game of baseball. And for 4 days, we get to come together and truly enjoy what this gift we've all been given, and that's to be around the game of baseball. It's so special.
I want to know how Jim Thome in 1990, at age 19, in Burlington and Kinston, North Carolina, thought about the game, and what you know now that you would have taught him.
At 19, I was hungry. I was, I think, just as passionate. You obviously, what your parents and what, watching the game and the respect was there. And I think I wouldn't have looked at anything different. Like now looking back, like it's the journey that's great. It's the failures. It's the people you meet. It's the organizations, the cities that you go to, and you learn these little things about the Minnesota Twins, the Phillies, the Cleveland Indians, the Chicago White Sox, and you create friends at all these stops. And then when you look back after 22 years, you go, oh my gosh, like this was so special to go through this ride. I wouldn't have changed anything, like literally. I would have hoped not to get into the Hall of Fame, but I would have hoped the journey would have done exactly what it did and would have given me the opportunities of the people I met, the teammates I met, and that I'm still, to be honest, friends with, that I can pick the phone up and call and say, let's go to dinner, or let's go grab coffee, or that's what our game gives you. If you're blessed to do the individual things and the put up number, whatever that is, at the end of the day, I think it's just more than that. It's those close relationships that mean so much.
You mentioned all those teams that you were with. Everybody loves you. Who are your enemies?
I don't know. I don't know.
I've not run into
I don't.
one.
You know what? I hope at the end of the day that you just want to treat people like you want to be treated. That's what it's about at the end of the day. I mean, look, I was so blessed to have great parents that they cared about us. I had a mother that would sit us down and kind of just talk about, hey, just treat people right, and had a dad that loved baseball. You would come home, WGN would be on TV, so that love of the game came from WGN, and whether the Cubs were playing the Pirates or the Phillies or the Cardinals, whoever it was, we just wanted to play baseball. And then that love it started at probably 5 or 6, and it continued. But you just care about people. At the end of the day, be kind and treat people like you want to be treated.
I know you were very close to your dad, and we're very sorry that you lost him.
Thank you.
What did you think of what Harold said about his father?
Emotional. I think it was heartwarming. It came from the heart. It showed everybody, what a great man he is, but what his father meant to him, which all of our dads means so much. Harold I think Harold is the man he is today because of his parents. And I think, you talk about why we are the way we are. It's because of how you're raised, and the way they guide you and they talk to you and they explain things in life. You can make a mistake, but at the end of the day, it's how you learn from it. And I think that's what great parents. That's what I'll bet Harold's dad did to him. Like my dad would, he would say, hey, again, similar to Mom, treat people the way you want to be treated. But as a father, he was also tough in a way that, he wanted us boys to play the game right and respect it. And I think that's what we did.
You were the youngest, right?
I was the youngest.
What do you think that taught you about life?
You better get to the table early. you better get to the dinner table early. Having 4 brothers and sisters that living in the Midwest, and you didn't want to be late there. That's for sure. And
what food went fastest at the Thome table?
Oh, I think lasagna. Lasagna, with my mother made great lasagna. Was a great. She could barbecue. Just looking back at your childhood memories, I mean, it's just so special.
Yeah.
Those are the things you'll always remember, is those special times.
I want to get to a couple White Sox things before we let you go. Specifically, your second home run of your career came against the White Sox. Do you remember who it was off of?
Was it in
It
Cleveland?
was in Cleveland.
It was in
And
Cleveland.
then you hit one the next year here that was like your 5th home run of your career, something like that?
Would it have been, let me just throw a name, was it Sanderson?
It wasn't, but it was same era. It was Blackjack.
It was
Actually, Jack
McDowell. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Then your first homer in our ballpark was Alex Fernandez.
Okay.
So you hit the good ones.
Yeah, they were good. That's for sure.
Those were
That's
some
for.
good races you guys had with the Sox.
Oh,
when
we
you were
had
over
some
on the other
special. Yeah, Frank and I talk a lot about that. Just those mid '90s like rivals. Like we would come here, they would come into Cleveland, and just that. That back and forth. Both teams had great offenses.
Oh.
So much fun to watch.
Deep lineups.
Yeah.
Who wins in '94 in the AL Central if the season plays out?
I mean, you got to. For me, answering that question, I'm going to say us. But
Well, which
we
us,
knew
though?
Cleveland. I hope
Right,
at
then.
Cleveland at the time, but
Yeah.
they were very good, and they were a really good team actually.
Yeah.
I think Frank had a tremendous year that year. So did Albert.
Yeah.
I mean, again, very evenly matched in my opinion, back and forth.
People forget too. I was looking the other day. Kansas City was only 4 back at the time of the strike hitting.
I had no idea.
I didn't either.
I had no idea.
Everybody says Sox and Indians, but Kansas City was hanging around.
Yeah.
Right there. Bob Hamlin.
Hamlin,
having a
Hammer.
season. Yeah.
Yes.
So before we go, you followed White Sox prospects. You've seen some of them play as part of your role here.
Yeah.
What do you have on Luis Robert?
I
What
love
do you
him.
think?
I managed him, the Futures game. I love him. I mean, I actually, it was about a month ago, I got to see him in Mobile, and he's special. I'm going to tell you, this kid he's going to bring so much excitement to our fans. I mean, the way he plays the game, the way he acts on the baseball field, he's got this confidence about him that kind of like belongs. Eloy had that, I thought, in the minor leagues. Like, he knew he was going to be great, and he was. And I feel like Louis has the same kind of demeanor, and they're very similar in a lot of ways. And then you look at Madrigal. I mean, how do you not love Madrigal? Yeah. He's so, he's what every little boy should dream of being. How he approaches the game, when he walks in the clubhouse, the look on his eyes, this kid is so confident. And I know as a front office, we're so excited to keep watching all of these guys progress, but then become what we all dream they can be. And it's our job is to promote them. It's our job to love all, when we're there, boost them, make them feel important. And when they get here, then they can become what we all think they can do.
What comparison is in your heart, or have you heard from other people regarding Robert or Madrigal?
Comps are...
No, I know, they're hard.
They're really hard.
They're hard.
I would say if I just glance at Louis Robert, I mean, obviously he's not here yet. I would look at him in my time as a young Vladimir. That's who and look, to say he's going to be a Hall of Famer, and we're not going there. I'm saying if you look at just the physical kind of way he plays the game, how he attacks the baseball, how he plays the outfield, my first comparison would be of Vladimir. And then obviously longevity's got to do what Vladimir has done. With Madrigal, I would say it's kind of similar to Pedroia.
Yeah.
You know, the way that intensity, the love and passion of the game, and how he can, for me, how he can lift the clubhouse up by him being who he is.
Who did you get compared to when you were 18?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't compare. I never heard anybody compare me, you know, like that's a great, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, that's what people love about you, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't like top prospect.
Yeah.
He's going to show up and kill the ball. And all.
No, at a very young age, I was very raw. I didn't really learn the game until Charlie Manuel and Johnny Coral and all the Indians instructors. We had a chance to really master your game. You know, it's hard. This game is really hard. And then once you start seeing progression, that's when it gets really fun. And that's what these kids down below will see as they keep coming up the ladder.
When did it get really fun for you? When was the fun moment for you?
After AA. Then I felt like, you know what? It's getting real now. Once you go to AAA, you're right there. And AAA, AA's like right there as well. But I feel like when you get to AAA, things happen really quick. And that's what we're hoping for these kids.
Wonderful man, Jim Thome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Always.
Great to talk to Jim Thome, the Hall of Famer. Never gets
Thank
old,
you.
does it?
Oh, I hear you. Thank you.